Hello, friends. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your study. And thank you for your support. Like, subscribe the videos. It helps grow the Sangha. So I've gone ahead, and I'm going to show this first. I went ahead and alphabetized the reference manual or the reference book. And I've also added some terms. So I don't think the contrast is really good on this image, but hopefully you can read it. And just have it a look over, see if, I've captured the terms that you would find most helpful to have more direct and correct information without translation biases and all that. And it's alphabetical now, so a little easier to find what you're looking for. Anyway, so I want to let you know I've gone ahead and done that, and any future editions, of course, will be added in the appropriate place. So this is the second video I'm doing on the current draft of the Buddhism reference. And I'm going to try something. In the last one, I was reading the entry in the book, but I was interjecting a lot. So I'm going to try to this time, I'm going to read the entry in the book, finish it, and then if I have any additional thoughts, hopefully I'll remember my thoughts as I go. And that way you'll have a clearer, a better idea of what's in the actual book. Okay? So this is Mandala. And from the Encyclopedia Britannica, mandala is defined as a Sanskrit origin and meaning or similar to the word circle. In Hindu and Buddhist Tantrism, a symbol is a symbolic diagram used in the performance of sacred rites and as an instrument of meditation. The mandala is basically a representation of the universe, a consecrated area that serves as a receptacle for the gods and as a collection point of universal forces. So they're appealing to all the uses of the word mandala here, right? It's the Encyclopedia Britannica, after all. I'm interjecting, sorry. Man, the microcosm, by mentally entering the mandala and proceeding toward its center, is by analogy guided through the cosmic process of disintegration and reintegration. From this simple definition, it can be seen that the mandala of Nichiren, now this is no longer the Encyclopedia Britannica, the mandala of Nichiren is a specific representation of the entirety of the life or universe. More specifically, this mandala is the universe as defined and experienced in the teaching of the Lotus method. The postulate of this mandala is that by focused and active meditation, we can enact, it says intact, that's a typo, enact our very nature of the state of Buddha, as described more specifically in the Treasure Tower chapter of the Lotus Sutra. Got to catch that typo. The mandala creates for our samsaric mind a portal, a way to transcend this physical wonderland of possessions and things to a mental location outside these worlds or realms of attachment. A paradigm shift of insight and understanding occurring in the mind. This altered perception, or more accurately, experience, is the mind state of Buddha, liberated from the clutter of anxieties, of attachments, etc. We will see in the Gohonzon portion that this destination in our sentient mind is the very transmigration referred to in Buddhist teachings, and that it is quite distinct from the scroll on which Nichiren created his picture of the universe for contemplating the shift or ultimate portal, the Honzon of perception in the sentient mind to experience Buddha-ness. So that's it. That's the entry for Mandala. It's concise. Too concise? You tell me. That's what I'm trying to do with this book. Give a quick enough framework that it knocks out all of the hyperbole and poetics and mainly cultural and language bias of the translators to get to the core meaning. Mandala, as you can see here, isn't the thing itself, but the idea of the thing, right? There's the scroll, there's the mandala-ness of it, its use, right? And its goal is Gohonzon. That's in the mind. That is not the scroll. And the reason for this opening of the eye, the Gohonzon, is to experience Buddha-ness, which is the whole goal of the practice. So there it is, Mandala. Should we do another one? Now, in this version that I'm reading from, it's not alphabetized, so, but that's okay. All of these concepts are in the alphabetized one, they're just in a different order. So right after Mandala, in the first draft of this book, I put Gohonzon. Go figure, right? Yeah, we have time for another. Now, Gohonzon takes a little bit longer to explain, mainly because I included a quote from one of Nichiren's Gosho. So, we can't read them often enough. I always get something new out of rereading the same stuff. Depends on where your mind is, yeah? So here we go. Let's do Gohonzon. Gohonzon starts out with 4 quick references, definitions, if you will. One is the experience of the engine of life. Easily said, but if you don't know what the engine of life is, or you don't have any idea, the engine of life is also in the book, so you can go look that up, right? Number 2 is the realized mind state. That's more familiar, right? We read that, or some form of that, in many, many writings, translations, Gosho, what have you. Third is the ultimate objective of Buddhist practice. Now, I purposefully use the word that I think is far more correct in opposition to the hundreds, perhaps thousands of translations out there that insist on using the word object, which in our modern world certainly is far more physical in its characteristic, its references, its charisma, right? Although we can talk about what is the object of your desire, again, it seems physical. But what Buddhism is talking about isn't an object. All of Buddhism is about objects being empty and impermanent. So why would it be about an object? Why would we devote ourselves to an object? It makes no sense. It's a translation error. It's a cultural bias. It's just a language stupidity, really, because it just so doesn't resonate with Buddhism. But to make it a verb, objective, it's usable. It's not perfect, but it's usable, right? So what is the objective of Buddhist practice? That's not a thing, is it? It's a release from all things. Complete opposite. Nirvana. So the ultimate objective of Buddhist practice, Gohonzon, not the scroll, not mandala. The goal, the achieving the most honorific, the highest goal, Honzon, mental awakening, opening of the eye, Honzon, it's in the mind, the mind's eye, yeah? So, Gohonzon is the ultimate objective of Buddhist practice. That's why it's more usable to make that a verb. And fourth, the witness or eye of Buddha-ness, right? So, you'll see here why I include the quote, and I'm rambling on again. The sentient mind of ordinary mortal beings, immersed fully in the flow of momentum from the formations of life, see karma, unencumbered and experience all potential in each moment to moment of manifestation of existence. A state of mind aware of one's own manifestation of energies expressed moment to moment in concert with all phenomena in one's environment. Unseparated, at the core of our existence, we can realize our own making as a flow of karmic expression. See Engine of Life. In this following quote from a translation of Bodhisattva Nichiren's essay on the Gohonzon, it is described as follows. And the title of that essay is, "The Objective of Devotion for Observing the Mind Established in the Fifth 500-Year Period After the Thus Come One's Passing." Couldn't be too much more specific than that, yeah? Nichiren, the Shramana of Japan. Volume 5 of Great Concentration and Insight states, quote, and this is Nichiren now, "Life at each moment is endowed with the 10 worlds. At the same time, each of the 10 worlds is endowed with all 10 worlds, so that the entity of life actually possesses 100 worlds. Each of these worlds in turn possesses 30 realms, which means that in the 100 worlds there are 3,000 realms. The 3,000 realms of existence are all possessed by life in a single moment. If there is no life, that is the end of the matter." But if there is the slightest bit of life, it contains all the 3,000 realms. This is what we mean when we speak of the region of the unfathomable. Note, 3,000 realms might also read 3,000 factors, but the number is the same. The only difference lies in the method of expansion. Because the words and the numbers aren't important, the mechanism of how they make you think, consider the truth, the situation at hand, that's what's important, yeah? I'm interjecting again, sorry. The only difference lies in the method of expansion. Another copy of the Great Concentration and Insight says, "Each world is endowed with the 3 realms of existence." Question: is the principle of 3,000 realms in a single thought moment of life explained in the profound meaning of the Lotus Sutra, another of Tendai's writings? Answer: Miao Lo states that it is not. Question: then it is explained in the words and phrases of the Lotus Sutra. Answer: Miao Lo says that it is not. Question: what are his exact words? Answer: he says, quote, "None of them reveal that a single moment of life contains the 3,000 realms." Question: is this principle mentioned in any of the first 4 volumes of the Great Concentration and Insight? Answer: no, it is not. Question: what proof is there of this? Answer: Miao Lo says, quote, "When at last he revealed the method of meditation in the Great Concentration and Insight, he at the same time employed the 3,000 realms as a way to understand." And that's the end of the quote from Nichiren's Gosho. This is one of many such descriptions of the experience of the treasure tower offered by Nichiren to have us understand the nature of the Gohonzon mind and its ability to afford us a complete shift in our experience of the realms of potential, constantly remanifesting in each moment of thought. Thought, bold, being of the sentient mind, is the sight of Gohonzon and the experience of Buddha, or Buddha-ness. And yet, in the face of all this scholarship, offered through hundreds of years of Bodhisattva discussion, still, we find today an incredible number of deluded people claiming that the Gohonzon to be a piece of paper, a scroll, or a statue. How egregious! How could any person study the words of Nichiren, let alone the words of Shakyamuni? and come to the conclusion that a piece of paper is all that is needed for enlightenment. Really. Just as waking from a deep sleep and dream state requires only the waking opening of our eyes, so too does Nietzsche spend a great number of words in his treatise on the opening of the eyes, describing this very process of awakening and the identification of this process as itself the Gohonzon, or the objective of our practice. And that's it. So you've heard me talk about this so much through all the videos, and hopefully you understand that for me to try to say all of that in a tight, compressed form that's easily understandable, digestible, and useful to the student, maybe I'm a little too close to it, or maybe I'm doing an okay job. But I'm relying on you guys, because there's so many of you, that, and some of you are at stages where this is new information to you. So if you think that that's enough, did I go too far, or is it just enough? Is there some stuff in there that you're going to have to research a little bit? That's okay, because that's how study works, yeah? Don't want to oversimplify it, but at the same time, I want to give you tools to make Buddhism less mystical only by virtue of the word salads that we're constantly running into in sutras and translations, let alone the biases that throw us off. If you think logically about these words, it kind of answers itself, yeah? Why would we dedicate ourselves to things when the whole purpose of Buddhism is to release ourselves from that attachment, craving thing? It's really, the complexity of how simple this is pretty amazing. And the confusion of language and biases and so forth, it makes it a minefield just to try to just give me some clear pointers, yeah? Anyway, that's it for today. I don't want to do too much at a time because there's a lot to digest here. Let me know what you think of the alphabetized table of contents. If you feel inspired by listening to any of these, what about this word? I'd like to know more about that. It may or may not make it into the book. It depends on how relevant and important I think it is to our practice, Nichiren's doctrine, Shakyamuni's teachings, and there are a lot of words out there, like Sanzen, for instance, that just means 3,000. Doesn't seem like, that's probably said in 1,000 places on the internet, at least. So really no need for us to include it in a reference. You see what I mean? But a lot of the concepts that are in this are all essential to understand correctly, in my view. And I don't pretend to know them all, so if there's one that's specific to your experience, again, I ask you, please tell me in the comments or email me at tlksylvain@gmail.com. In the meantime, take care of your health. Patrons, you guys are incredible. Thank you for your monthly support through Patreon or through PayPal. Those of you who've bought ebooks, I will make this available as an ebook as well as a podcast. This video will be a podcast. So you'll have each term in the book along with some extra blah, blah, blah. But, again, I'm trying to keep these videos, these podcasts, concise, unlike the normal exploratories that I do. So in the meantime, again, take care of your health. Be kind. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.